The last time Syracuse and Oklahoma met in the NCAA tournament, a trip to the Final Four was on the line. This time, it's a spot in the Elite Eight. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. With you on your NCAA tournament previews presented by Brother Printer. We're talking about the 3-2 matchup in the South Regional on Friday night. Let's bring in CBS College Sports to Steve Lappas to break it down. And, Steve, totally different teams. Carmelo Anthony was on the team. Hakeem Wark. Different players all over. It was 6 years ago. But the scheme was the same. Oklahoma struggled with the 2-3 zone. The players that the Sooners have now, do they have the ability to break down that 2-3 zone?
Well, their perimeter guys are much better this time around. Willie Warren, 38% three-point shooter this year. Tony Crocker, an excellent three-point shooter last year. This year up and down, but nonetheless capable. And then Austin Johnson, their point guard, another guy who can make threes. So when you have three guys capable of making threes, because you know they're going to be collapsing around Blake Griffin, those three guys have to make threes. And the other thing they need to do, like Willie Warren, is so good with the dribble, he can penetrate into the teeth of that zone and create some things for people.
Well, then, of course, it all comes down to Blake Griffin as well, who you just mentioned. They're going to collapse on him. You know that. What does his role have to be in this game?
First of all, he has to be unbelievable on the offensive glass, because the one thing a zone struggles with is boxing out, because now you're guarding an area, you're boxing out an area instead of a particular person. So he's got to make himself very difficult to find going to the offensive glass. And he's going to have some patience. And one of the things that Blake Griffin, I think, does have, he has an amazing demeanor. You see he hasn't gotten upset with the way people have been banging him around, flipping him to the floor. This guy keeps his cool, and that's important in this game, that he not get frustrated, especially early on, if his team isn't making shots and he's being surrounded.
Steve, for Syracuse here, they're probably playing the best basketball that they've played all season, and it's all starting with that backcourt. When you look at Johnny Flynn and Eric Devendorf, is that maybe where they have the advantage in this game?
Boy, nobody can skate like Johnny Flynn. This guy in the half court is great. In the full court, he is so much fun to watch because he'll dunk in transition. He'll throw the fancy pass. He is really, really good. Maybe the best point guard in this entire tournament. Then you throw Devendorf and Routen's out there next to him, guys who can shoot the ball from the three-point line. This perimeter is very dangerous. And Paul Harris, he adds something. He's a guy who kills you on the baseline at 6'4", and he had a game of 16 rebounds. Very, very difficult perimeter to match up with.
Steve, this is one of the more intriguing matchups here in the Sweet 16 because you've got two teams that are so talented all over the board. What do you think the one key to this game is going to be?
I think the big key is going to be, does Oklahoma get enough on the perimeter to open up that zone for Blake Griffin so that he can move around a little bit?
Do you think they get it done? Do you think they have enough to beat Syracuse there?
I think they have enough because this guy is a dominant player. He keeps his cool. Even when things aren't going great, he's able to erupt on you any second. I think Oklahoma gets it done.
And probably the player of the year as well. We'll see how it all plays out in Memphis. Steve Lappas, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And, of course, you can see Steve Lappas on CBS College Sports all throughout the rest of the tournament. And don't forget, you can see the rest of the games in the tournament live online for free with March Madness on demand. Go to NCAA.com to find out more. For Steve Lappas, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.